Ever pondered about where the magic of cinema originated from? It all began modestly in the form of magic lantern shows, a byproduct of the 17th century. These lanterns, with their hand-painted slides, cast a spell on audiences, illuminating darkened rooms with stories never before seen. Yet the journey of cinema had just begun. The 18th century brought us the camera obscura, a device that projected images of reality onto a screen, turning the world upside down, quite literally. This invention sparked a fascination with capturing reality, a fascination that would ultimately lead to the birth of cinema. As the centuries rolled on, the zoetrope and the praxinoscope made their appearance. These devices, with their spinning discs and revolving mirrors, breathed life into static images, creating the illusion of motion. They were the precursors to film, the very foundation upon which cinema was built. But the magic truly started to manifest when two French brothers, Auguste and Louis Lumière, stepped into the scene. With their invention, the cinématographe, they brought to life moving pictures. Their first public screening on December 28, 1895, was a landmark event. The audience watched in astonishment as the images of a train arriving at a station and workers leaving a factory flickered on the screen. And just like that, the Lumière brothers had transported them to a different place, a different time. In the years that followed, silent films took center stage. Without dialogue, these films relied on exaggerated expressions and dramatic gestures to tell their stories. They were the first to bring the power of visual storytelling to the masses, silently weaving tales of love, adventure, and tragedy. And so, with the flicker of black and white images, cinema was born, silently transforming the way we perceive stories. The dawn of cinema was a time of experimentation and innovation, a time when dreamers and inventors dared to capture reality and project it onto a screen. And as we move forward, let us not forget the magic and wonder that marked the beginning of this extraordinary journey. From silent films, we leaped into the era of talkies and color. Welcome to the golden age of Hollywood, a time period that spanned roughly from the late 20s to the early 60s. It was an era when the cinematic world found its voice and the palette of storytelling was painted with vibrant hues. The dawn of the talkies, marked by The Jazz Singer in 1927, revolutionized the film industry. It was like the characters on the silver screen had suddenly come to life, and the audience could not only see their expressions but hear their voices, their laughter, their cries. This transition from silent films to talkies was not smooth, though. It was a tumultuous time for many silent film stars who found it difficult to adapt to the new technology. But once the dust settled, talkies were here to stay, and they changed the landscape of cinema forever. At around the same time, Technicolor was introduced. This innovation added an entirely new dimension to filmmaking. For the first time, audiences could see films in full, glorious color. This was a game changer, as evident in iconic films like Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz. They were not just movies, they were experiences that transported viewers into magical, colorful worlds. However, the Golden Age was not all glitz and glamour. The shadow of World War II loomed large over Hollywood. The war influenced the themes and narratives of many films of this era, leading to the emergence of film noir. These were gritty, realistic films that reflected the anxieties and uncertainties of the time. But even amidst the turmoil, Hollywood rose like a phoenix, churning out unforgettable classics and producing some of the biggest stars in film history. This was the era of Clark Gable, Katharine Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart, and many others who left an indelible mark on cinema. The Golden Age indeed was a time when cinema started to speak and the world listened, mesmerized. As times changed, so did cinema. From Hollywood, it spread its wings across the globe. A new era dawned where filmmaking wasn't just an American affair. The French New Wave, Italian neorealism, and the British New Wave emerged, challenging Hollywood's dominance and changing the language of cinema. The French New Wave, or La Nouvelle Vague, was a rebellious cinematic movement in the late 50s and 60s. Young filmmakers, inspired by their love for cinema and a desire to shatter conventions, sought to redefine what a movie could be. They experimented with narrative structure, visual style, and character development, creating films that were raw, innovative, and deeply personal. Meanwhile, Italian neorealism painted a stark picture of post-war Italy. These films, often featuring non-professional actors and shot on location, represented the harsh realities of the common man's life. They were gritty, poignant, and profoundly human, showcasing the resilience and dignity of ordinary people amid struggle and hardship. Across the channel, the British New Wave was taking root. This movement focused on social realism, exploring themes of class, gender, and race. It brought to the fore stories of the working class, shedding light on their lives with an unflinching honesty and empathy. As these waves rippled across the world, they gave rise to independent cinema, films made outside the traditional studio system. Independent filmmakers embraced the freedom to tell diverse stories, pushing boundaries and challenging norms. The advent of digital filmmaking further democratized the process. Now, anyone with a camera and a story could make a film, breaking down the barriers to entry and ushering in a new era of creativity and innovation. Cinema, now a global language, evolved with the changing times, always seeking to tell stories in newer, bolder ways. From the rebellious spirit of the French New Wave to the gritty realism of Italian neorealism, from the social commentary of the British New Wave to the boundary pushing of independent cinema, the evolution of cinema is a testament to the power of film as a medium for storytelling, expression, and connection. In the 21st century, we've entered the digital era, but what does the future hold for cinema? The dawn of the digital age has been a game changer for the world of cinema. It's kicked open doors to new possibilities, bringing about a revolution in how we create, distribute, and consume films. This digital transformation has democratized filmmaking, making it accessible to many who were once sidelined by the high costs and technical complexity of traditional film production. Today, anyone with a smartphone can shoot a film, edit it, and share it with the world. And then there's the shift towards online streaming platforms. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Disney Plus, amongst others, are now the new giants of the film industry. They've reinvented the way we watch movies, bringing the cinematic experience into our living rooms and even onto our smartphones. Not only have they disrupted traditional distribution models, but they've also become major players in film production, commissioning original films and series that rival those of established Hollywood studios. But perhaps the most exciting development in the digital era of cinema is the rise of virtual reality in storytelling. VR is no longer just a gimmick for video games. It's an immersive medium that allows filmmakers to place viewers inside the story, making them active participants rather than passive observers. The potential for VR in cinema is immense, and we're only just scratching the surface. So what does the future hold for cinema? We can expect to see more immersive experiences as technology continues to evolve. We might see films that are not just watched, but experienced in a multi-sensory way. And we can anticipate a rise in interactive storytelling, where viewers influence the narrative, making each viewing a unique experience. As we stand on the brink of another evolution in cinema, it's exciting to imagine what new dimensions of storytelling await us.